I love this little piece on how to pass life's tests, and I thought I'd share this. It says in Jeremiah 11:20 that God tests our minds and our emotions. And so when we want to test something, how do we do it? Well, we put pressure on it to see if it'll do what it says it will do. And then we look to see if it'll hold up under the stress. And God does the same with us. And when we pray, when we're asking Him to use us and put us into positions of, say, leadership, His answer is, let me try you out first. Let me put you to the test first. And, so many people never make it past the trying point. They never make it past the test. They spend their whole lives going round and round the same proverbial mountain. But in God's school, we don't flunk. We get to keep taking the test again and again until we pass it. Oh, the joys of taking the test again and again. But to test something means to prove its truth or genuineness by an experiment or a trial or an examination. And, it also means to compare something against a standard. So one way that God tests us is by requiring us to manifest what we say we know. So He wants to see that head knowledge transcribed into heart knowledge, because head knowledge is not enough. If we can't produce the goods, then head knowledge means nothing. So Deuteronomy 8:2 says that God led the Israelites into the wilderness for 40 years to humble them. Far out, eh? He did that to test them, to see if that they would keep His commandments. And tests don't usually come in good times and easy times, because it's easy to pass a test when all your environment is easy and everything's going your way. But they come in hard times, because not everything that God asks us to do or wants us to do is easy. And so that's why He tests us, to see if we're ready and able before He promotes us to a higher level of responsibility. So many things come our way every day that are nothing more than tests. For example, sometimes we get a bad meal, and that's a test. How are we going to react? And, pulling into a car parking space and someone zooms in and takes it. If that's not the test of all tests, then I don't know what is. And sometimes the boss tells us to do something that we don't want to do, and that's a test as well. James 1:2 verse 4 says, that test brings out what is in us, and in times of trial, we become best acquainted with ourselves and what we are capable of doing. So, Peter didn't think he would ever deny Jesus, but when he was put to the test, that's exactly what he did. And God's not impressed what we say we will do. He's impressed by what we prove we will do under pressure. We don't get to be promoted in ministry because we have our Bibles underlined in 2 colours. We are raised up in life and ministry because we have been tested and tried, and we have passed our tests. So I thought that was an incredible message for all of us today, because all of us are being tested, and it's time for us to get off the spiritual milk and onto the spiritual meat. And it's time for us to prove ourselves worthy of the calling that God has purposed for us since before the beginning of time. If we keep failing in the same tests over and over and going round and round the same mountains, we're just never going to be able to walk out that purpose. So I feel like the message is not only how to pass life's tests, but also, it's time to pass life's tests.